Hey everyone, welcome back to the Road to the Labyrinth Part 2. We're just going to go over some of these nodes really quick. A lot are going to be very similar to the first three runs through it. The back three have a lot of similar nodes. There's a couple that are different. We're going to chat about those. So a lot of the ideas and concepts are going to be the very same. But we're just going to approach it real quick. We're going to talk through this. So chapter 4.4, we get in with that spiked armor again. So again, if you have someone like Crossbones, and what I forgot to mention last time is if you have someone like Quake, she's also really solid for this. If you play Quake style correctly, if you can, charge the heavy when they swing in once, it auto evades, try to land the parry on their second attack, start charging the heavy again. You can actually do a lot of damage to them without actually making any physical contact throughout the fight. And so that's one good way that you can kind of counter some of these. So if you do have a Quake, she's pretty solid for the spike nodes as well. Crossbones obviously is going to be, I still think, the number one choice just because of the fact that he can't crit. So Kamal Khan has Outlast and Enhanced Fury. No big deal here. Really, with it being Kamala, you can take a lot of different people in there. But again, my suggestions are the people with some regen to override the spiked armor, or people like Crossbones that can't crit. Someone like that, or someone that's just going to burst her down really quick. Your Widow and your Gwen technically can still override the spiked armor. Also, so Punisher has Starburst. This is super annoying at times because of the amount of damage that you're going to take over time, the amount of degeneration you're going to take. As the lower health he gets, the more Starburst damage that you're going to be taking. So having someone that can heal up a lot of that, like your Wolverine or X-23, is probably my number one pick. Because if he does proc Endurance whenever he's at low health, you're sitting there for like 10 seconds while he is just taking away your health like crazy with degeneration. So, either you're going to want to go in there with someone like Wolverine or X-23. You can try to cancel it out with Heavy Fury on X-Bones. Or something like that, or Gwen, maybe try to counteract it by having a high combo. So those are some other options there. So then jumping into Superior Iron Man, easy fight. Superior Iron Man's really easy to dodge, special 1 and 2. The enhanced armor ups are not a very big deal. War Machine, that armor and fury are 40% stronger. That can be a little bit of a pain if you get clipped, and you're going to have severely diminished damage for that 12 or 15 hits, however much the empty the clip is. I forget, I think it's 12 armor up and 12 fury. But if you take in someone like Voodoo, immediately pop off your special 1 on an even combo after he gets that, and he's going to die within seconds. It also works technically if you have like a Mordo in there, but most people don't take Mordo into an attack phase. Yellow Jacket has the unblockable special 1 with a bias to that. If you do that lane in map 5, and you have some practice with that, that's good. There's a couple different options here. With Yellow Jacket, you can play the Quake style and just wait until he's right under a bar of power to let the basically let the Earthquake go off. He's stunned for that period of time. Try to push him all the way to his level 2 because that's very consistent and easier to evade. The other options are Wolverine. If you do get clipped by it, you're going to be able to heal up a lot of that damage. Don't pop your special, take the stun, just take the hits from it. You should be able to regen a lot of that back as Wolverine. Gwen, just to do the sheer amount of damage. Obviously, Deadpool or Daredevil Classic is a great option as well because he's going to auto-evade that for you. If you got Stark Spider-Man, that's going to work because he can basically auto-evade it, or as you evade, it'll help you evade the rest of it. So, those are some good options. If you take someone else in with some power control, like I know it's class against it, but class disadvantage, but if you take someone like a Voodoo to help control the power, a Vision wouldn't be a bad idea either, because once you have Vision, you can always keep them under as level 1. Vision has that ability, both Age of Ultron and regular. Again, I mentioned this last time, but Age of Ultron is my personal favorite on the Visions, just because I feel like I have more control over when my power gains are. So Wolverine is next. He's stun immune. He's got all or nothing. There's another great node for Vision. Stark Enhanced Spider-Man, Voodoo, someone that can counteract the poison from Voodoo will really help negate some of his healing. Vision can do the same thing. He's got the heal block on his special 1 and 2 as long as you drain him full of power, which the special 2 automatically does. So Wolverine should be a pretty simple fight. Just make sure you got some power control in there, or Stark Spider-Man to taunt him to fire off a special 1 or 2. Thanos has Kinetic Reactor this time, so he's going to gain power every time you block him. So a good thing here is try to work on your intercepts. baiting heavies is going to give him power, but also he has openings after his specials. So feel free to take advantage of that as he does gain power to come in after that. Power control does help for him. So it's just gonna, or having someone that has a high attack, high health, or health regen is gonna really help. So a Wolverine, someone, or Voodoo, just people that are gonna outlast the damages he's gonna dish out through his punishing hits, even while you're blocking. So chapter 4.5, we got Safeguard one more time. So again, the same as kind of 4.2, you're going to want a high damage over time champions. Start out with Rhino. This is probably one of the harder fights in Road to the Labyrinth. It can be very frustrating until you learn it. I have another video on my channel that talks about how to fight Rhino. It goes a little bit more in depth. I show some different stuff I use Wolverine for that, but just making sure with Rhino, as long as you are staying up in his face, he will not get the unblockable. The rush on you. So the goal of Rhino, and I say it in the video, is basically try to hug him the entire time. If you can just stay inside of him, or like inside his guard constantly, that'll make it to where he's not getting that charge and getting the unblockable and hitting you. And you can just basically back him into a corner, stay right in his face, stack your bleed, stack the damage that you can do. So it's a good thing he's the first one, because if you make a mistake, just exit out, come back in. You only wasted 1 energy. But in this, for sure, Gwenpool and Wolverine would probably be my MVPs on that. Guillotine has an unblockable level 2, starts with 2 bars of power. So again, just anyone with a damage over time. Guillotine's a pretty easy fight. Just don't go rushing on her right at the beginning and push her past her, to a level 3, because that's going to really cause some issues. So Superior Iron Man has another Mystic Ward. He has 95% chance to fail. I mentioned this before, but I'm pretty sure Voodoo overrides that, because he's technically not nullifying the buffs. He's just transferring them into something else. And I might have just been lucky, but every time that I've done it on like the 80% nodes and stuff in War, Voodoo does convert them all over. So he has unblockable level 1, shouldn't be a problem. He's easy to dodge. Venom has increased buff duration, and he also can have like 20 buffs. So this is a perfect fight for someone like Voodoo to just convert all those buffs over to the poison, and let him go ahead and just bleed or be poisoned to death. Shouldn't take a ton of hits if you're playing Voodoo and you're just waiting for the buffs to pop up so you can transfer them into the Loas. Netflix Daredevil is next. He's got 100% radar sense, so just don't fire anything that's projectile. He's going to dodge it. And he also has 100% chance to stun on hit. So if you take someone in there like a Storm, or someone that shoots anything at all, like even Gwen, I mean, he shouldn't dodge the 3rd shot of her special 1, or the 2nd shot of her special 2, because he's already been hit by a non-projectile. But you're just going to want to make sure you don't use any type of projectiles. Storm has unblockable 2 and a bias towards it. If you get hit by this, you're dead. It's a high with the amount of attack and boost that they have. If she tags you with this, there's a very, very high chance that you're dead. So just it's not hard to dodge, but you just have to be aware of it. I swear she does it more than anybody else, but intercepts you with her special 2 and special 1. So just play smart around it. Really bait out that special 1 is my recommendation. It's a lot easier to dodge. Special 2 sometimes can be finicky because she goes so high in the air that when you rush her afterwards, you can miss on the first hit. But you guys know this Storm's been around for a long time, so it's not like she's a new fight to anybody. Ultron, he's stun immune and has 200% power gain. Highly recommend bringing in here someone with power control. Obviously, you can bait the level 1 and get free openings, but you're going to be able to do a 5-hit combo. He's going to have his level 1, another 5-hit combo have his level 1. And I think that 3rd 5-hit combo will push him all the way to his level 2, which is fully evadable, but a lot of people have some trouble with that. So I would recommend taking in a Voodoo, even though I know he's poison immune. Fire off that special 2 on an even combo, do that bonus damage with the power control would be a recommendation there. Vision, I think, is probably the best bet for the power control here, just because you can also apply that heal block. And since Ultron is stun immune, if you're running with Voodoo, you're going to have to be ready to fire off that level 1 on an even combo to kind of cancel out that heal. Or, with Vision, just pop off a special anytime that he has, if you're firing a special 1, make sure he has under 1 bar of power. Firing a special 2, it really doesn't matter. But near that half health and quarter health, just keep those heal blocks on him and it shouldn't be any problem at all. Nightcrawler has increased ability chance, so he's going to be evading a lot more. I highly recommend trying to push him to his swashbuckling mode. This will make it a lot easier. I put Thor in here, and I thought I had deleted that out. So that and when I put him in there, I was not thinking that there was still Safeguard on here. So let me get Thor out of here really quick. A lot of times for Nightcrawler, I do like using Thor just because you can parry him and get that 3-hit combo, and it's just doing ridiculous amounts of damage. Again, Safeguard kind of negates all of that. But push him to a swashbuckling, only attack whenever he is stunned. My favorite champions for Nightcrawler, besides Thor, have been Voodoo after you fire off a special on an odd combo. Gwen's really good if you just play on the hits while he's stunned. So basically, you could parry, hit him 3 times. That 4th hit, he has a chance to evade. So just immediately after throwing the 4th hit, hold block and try to clip him with another parry. 3 hits plus the 1, immediately block again. Just kind of rinse and repeat that as best as possible. I'd recommend not doing the 5-hit combos, because if he dodges on the 4th one, you're trying to go for the 5th, you're going to get tagged, and he's gonna kill you in one combo. With the 100% crit damage, how often Nightcrawler crits, his increased ability chance raises the amount of times he can crit, because it's part of his passive with the increase of crit to do the Fury stack. So I mean, there's a good chance Nightcrawler just one-shot you immediately if you don't play safe into him. So swashbuckling is my opinion to get him switched over to that. Down here, okay, so chapter 4.6 kind of does a conglomerate of everything. It's going to mix in some of the nodes that we've had already. So Superior Iron Man has spiked armor. So again, going here with crossbones, I like using that just because you can bypass his overload with a couple Fury stacks. Voodoo can just nullify it, and I say nullify it, but he can transfer it. Gwen, and if for some reason he can't transfer it, you fire it off at the wrong time, there's a good chance you'll have a low on him that's going to negate a lot of that healing anyways. Gwen can just get a high enough combo that he won't be able to proc that, and Wolverine just high amounts of bleed just to kind of and heal, so you can repair from that spiked armor damage you're going to be taking. Abomination, same as last time. He's got the enhanced poison, he's got Safeguard, and he's got the buff debuff length. So taking in someone that's poison immune is someone that I'd highly recommend. Iceman has a damage over time. And the nukes from the frostbite wearing off, I believe, override Safeguard. I need to double check that one, but I know, I'm pretty sure it does, just like Yellow Jacket can override it too with his power stings. Hyperion, if you're just spamming your level 1, you're going to do a lot of damage, so I basically would parry, heavy attack, get some Furies, parry, special 1, parry, special 1, just keep the Fury stacks up and spam the special 1 as much as possible, and that Incinerate will just tear through them. Widow and Crossbones are also good choices, just because they won't proc the poison on themselves very often at all because of their defensibility accuracy reduction. Cyclops has Spite, so he's going to be gaining a lot of power, so taking in someone with the power control is really smart, unless you're good at dodging a special 1 and 2 and you use them just to bait so you have free openings. Again, I mentioned this before, but Dorky Diggity Dave did a really good video on how to fight Cyclops. So if you're having trouble dodging that special 1 and special 2, check out his video. That'll really help you out. Rocket Raccoon has Safeguard, so taking in someone like Gwen, Hyperion, and Drax, just high bleed or high incinerate damage, just to burn through them. His level 1 and level 2 are unblockable, so just back away from those. It does take 2 dashes back to dodge Rocket Raccoon's special 1. If you're at a weird length away, sometimes the special 1 goes way further than other times, so just be aware of that and be ready to dash back. Venom Pool has Spite, so he's going to be gaining power the entire time with increased buff duration, and he's also stun immune. So because of Spite, I'd recommend taking in someone with power control. Voodoo will give him the Spite buff right off the bat with his heal, so if you're going to take Voodoo in, make sure that you're dodging the specials that come out. They're really easy to dodge, but make sure you're baiting and not just holding block, or make sure that you're actually baiting out the specials. Ghost Rider's a little bit easier to control with the power gain. Fire it off on the second or third one, but just second or third judgment. But yeah, just play careful. Make sure that he's not getting all the way maxed out, because if he fires off his special 3, if you have someone in there that's bleed immune, you're going to be fine. It does not do a lot of damage at all, but if you take bleed damage, it's going to kill you. The bleed off of his special 3 is absolutely ridiculous. Black Panther Civil War, he's stun immune, and I think it's so silly that they did that, because he's way easier if he's stun immune. He has spiked armor, so Wolverine, Crossbones, Widow, kind of like the first time you fight him. He's the very first fight in Road to the Labyrinth as well. So Scarlet Witch has Spite, 30% increased buff duration, and 28% crit chance, 28% increased crit chance. Power control is going to be helpful with Spite. Because she can pop those power gains as well if you do crit her. So if you have a buff on you and you crit her and she pops the power gain, she can gain power insanely fast. So if you're not using someone with power control, it can be a real issue with her getting maxed out and getting her special 3. And it might not kill you, but there's a good chance it will, because they're going to be doing a lot of damage in this chapter as well. And I forgot to put it there, everyone in this chapter does have that 100% health and 100% attack and health boost as well, so that's not any different. And then finally after Scarlet Witch, we got Thanos. With Safeguard on him, this is a pretty long fight unless you're taking in someone that can override it. Gwen, as you get more and more hits, can get there. Once you have that 50-hit combo, you'll always be doing full damage. You just won't stop proccing any bleeds. So there's a lot of options for Thanos. Just make sure you watch some videos on Thanos and how his specials are, get the timing down for it, and then taking in someone that has that longevity in the fight. So Hyperion's great because you can do a special 1s, or you can save up to your special 3, get the charges, and then get that heal, that long-lasting heal, and then be firing off your special 1s to get. Well, I mean, he's got Safeguard, so just special 1s just to do as much damage as you can because it's multiple hits. Voodoo, because he's got the heal throughout the entire beginning. But Wolverine is going to be a good option because he's constantly healing. Gwenpool, I think Gwenpool and Crossbones, or someone with the defensive ability accuracy reduction, is going to be your best bet. Just because it's going to make the fight last less time instead of having to hit him 100 times or more, because the max you're going to be able to do is 1%. That immunity can really be a pain in the butt. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll try to get to you as quick as possible. There are lots of good videos out there on how to fight some of these bosses and how to fight some of the tougher fights. I've got some on my channel, and I know that a lot of other people have been putting out content like this too. So if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to leave a comment down below with that question. I'll see what I can do to help you out, post a video about it. But yeah, besides that, I appreciate you checking it out. We'll have some other stuff coming up, but I wanted to wrap up Road to the Labyrinth. We'll talk about some other progression stuff where I know a lot of the mid-tier people are having some issues. Maybe not issues, but just having some challenges with overcoming some of these tougher fights and how to get through that so we can continue that progression and move on from there. So, hey, I definitely appreciate you checking it out. Have a great evening, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. See ya!